Hello and welcome to Inside My Bedroom Closet. I'm Lisa, your clinical sexologist, sexuality coach, and erotologist, and I'm back inside the bedroom closet. So I'll wait for a few minutes to give people time enough to jump on before I start my subject tonight. But I am back inside the closet. A little time difference had me all confused, but it's about 8 o'clock Central. So I usually jump in for about 30 minutes. I'll try to do about 15 minutes of education on our subject tonight. And then I'll try to answer some questions if you guys have some questions for me. But tonight we're going to talk about abstinence. And because it's Sex Monday, abstinence is what some people choose to do in lieu of having sex, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about abstinence tonight and some of the reasons for abstinence. And so it was basically a conversation that I had with someone, of course, on the airplane. And it was in reference to them abstaining from sex. And we just talked a little bit about it and some of the things that, or the reasonings behind their choice to be abstinence, to abstain from sexual behavior. So, and we know that sometimes it can be a little bit hard. So I'll go over some of the number one reasons why people choose to be abstinent. And so if you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those. But when people choose to abstain from sex, is to give themselves another option in lieu of putting themselves in a sexually seductive or arousing position. And some people choose to do that for various reasons. Now, we know that some people have very strong moral and religious beliefs. Excuse me, let me get a little water. I've been speaking all day. So, so they want to maintain their moral and religious principles to, excuse me, to be in line with the term monogamous. Because as I meant, monogamous means marriage. And some people want to keep that as close to them as possible as far as following the basic rules for wanting to have sex after marriage. So just having that moral and religious principle that you hold on to could be one of the factors that you choose to abstain from sex. Because some people believe that that's something that you should share with one significant other, and that one significant other should be someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with, because it says that the marriage bed cannot be defiled. So that means married couples can pretty much do what they choose to do in the eyesight of religious and moral principles. So that's one of the reasons, and they're waiting until they're ready. And when they get ready, they want it to be with that one partner that they can share their sexual pleasures with. And that goes for whatever they choose to do as a married couple. So abstaining can be hard for some and not so hard for others, because you have to put yourself in the mindset that you want to wait for the right partner. And sometimes when we choose to have sex too early in life, you find that so many emotions are tied into sex, and that could really give you some type of traumatic outlook on it as you get older, because of the way things may have gone in your sexual encounters when you do them with a person that you may not be ready to do them with, right? So, so if you have any questions on any of these, definitely I'll get to you in about another 10 minutes. Want to go over a few topics. Of course, I took my notes so I can make sure that I give you guys all the information that I've got in reference to wanting to abstain. Now, in certain situations when people have been with a significant other for quite some time, they choose to abstain because they're used to that partner that they may have had. Now, it could be because of a breakup. And we know breakups happen and they could be hard. You could be very used to the partner that you're with sexually, and it's harder for you to share yourself with someone new. So once you break up with someone, sometimes people want to jump right into another relationship, and then maybe not jump right into a sexual relationship because, as I mentioned, so many emotions are tied into people when they have sexual encounters. Now, of course, we'll talk about those who have open marriages and those who choose to have open relationships where they say that it may not bother them, but they do set rules and boundaries, right? So they want to make sure that so many things don't take place. But when you're abstaining, you look at all the ramifications around the reasons why you don't want to jump right into sex with another person. So after a breakup could be one of those. Now, loss or bereavement of a significant other could definitely be another, because you are connected with that person. Maybe you shared years together. Maybe you shared children together and grandchildren together and different things like that, where you have a bond that's deeper than just physical, because sex is a physical act and love is an emotional act. So you can have loved someone for a very long time and suffered a loss from any type of bereavement or any type of breakup, which make you want to abstain and get into a relationship with the right person if you choose to go forward. Now, based on age, some people say, oh no, I don't want to get into sex with anybody else. It could be because of body image, and the person that I was speaking to on the airplane had a problem with body image. Of course, she gained weight over time and she just wasn't ready to reveal her naked self to someone else, because you have to be comfortable with yourself. And people love people, as I mentioned to her, of all different shapes and sizes. But you have to be comfortable with yourself in order to share that with someone else and not be inhibited. That way you won't be imbalanced when you're trying to have a sexual encounter if you choose to do it again. Now, let's see. What about those who choose to avoid pregnancy or any type of STDs? Because, of course, you can get preventatives like birth control and condoms and things like that to avoid pregnancies. And some people want to have children. So when they do have sex, they want it to be for the reasons that they love that person and they want to share children with that person. So they may not want to be on birth control. And it could be for health reasons that they may not want to choose to use any type of supplements. So they abstain until they figure they have found the right person and they want to share their body and their life and their love with that person. So that's the reason why they choose to abstain until that happens. Or STIs, right? So because a sexually transmitted infection can happen, and if you're in a relationship and you built a trust with that person, and you've built time with that person before you guys chose to have sex, but did you have that conversation about, have you been tested for any type of recent STIs where you could possibly be infected with the herpes, HIV, HPV? There's a wide variety of sexually transmitted infections, so some people choose to abstain for that reason. Now, some people have fun without sexual involvement. Yeah, they date, they go out to exciting places, they do exciting things, and they choose not to involve themselves with a sexual partner. Now, the one person that I was speaking with found herself dating, because she didn't want to commit to any one person right away, but she did want to get out and have a little fun. But in dating, she found that she didn't have to commit to having sex right away because it was a new involvement and a new situation. But you want to think about the other person. You don't want to be selfish in your thoughts for just yourself and dating and not allowing that person to know that I'm abstaining. And that could be something that they're doing too. They could be abstaining as well. So you want to definitely have that conversation when you meet someone before it gets to that degree. Because after hours and hours and hours of communication with a new person, you do start to shift the conversation, and it goes from nice casual conversation to maybe topics about what you're wearing, or you're looking sexy, or you're looking great, and those are topics that lead up to sexual topics. So you want to be as perfectly honest with anyone that you're dating that you may be abstaining, because a year, 2, 3, 10, 15, people can abstain for a very long time, especially if they're not in a sexually aroused relationship. And it's not so hard for people to have a mindset that they want to spend they want to share their body with someone that they trust and someone that they respect, and the feelings are vice versa. So, the communication, trust, and respect is the builders and the foundation of any type of relationship. So when you're dating, those are things that you want to be honest. What can happen? Yeah? So think about that. Let's see what else I've got on the list. These two are very important. Sometimes people choose to pursue education, life goals, or extracurricular activities where they don't want to be committed in a relationship, because they know sometimes emotions can take the focus off of what it is that you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to achieve an educational goal, and you're trying to maybe get into some type of extracurricular activity where you're focusing on a sports goal, or maybe even if you're just focusing on a life goal, and you want to meet those goals before you decide to share your time and energy with someone else. And that could definitely, when you meet people, it's all about thinking of maybe a sexual context with that person. Maybe thinking of something that could be stimulating or arousing for an individual. So that's the reasons why some people meet. But we're talking about reasons why people abstain tonight inside the bedroom closet. Now, this one can happen to both men and women, where you have a loss of libido, where you don't have a sex drive like you used to. Some women go through menopause and you don't even know or remember or think about the last time you had sex, because that libido loss is there. And then andropause for men, which is the male version of menopause, where you may not think about having sex as much. You may be busy, you may be working hard, you may have other things on your mind and it just gets away from you, or you don't want to get into that physical activity. It could be a wide variety of things when you're going through menopause and andropause, because sometimes you can suffer from pelvic pain. Both men and women can have pelvic pain because the pelvic floor can drop, and therefore painful sex is not good, and you may abstain for that reason. But as I mention all the time, if you don't use it, you lose it. And what I mean by that, you have vaginal muscles that will weaken over time. Gravity happens and things start to drop. Your pelvic floor will start to drop, and those muscles inside your vaginal cavity will become weaker. And if you have children, they're already going to become weaker. But in a sense of when you are having orgasms, and I won't say that word too much because we're on the ticker, but when you're having the O, those muscles start to contract. When men have ejaculate come out, then you start to have those muscles contract. And when they stop contracting as much over time, then that pelvic floor starts to weaken, and that's when incontinence could possibly start to happen. And you want to avoid that. If you're not having activity, you want to do your Kegels, as I mentioned, on a regular basis. That's not something that you have to do with a partner. You can do that on your own. You can also pleasure yourself, if you choose not to be with a partner right now. And that's something that you can do to avoid it. And you want to eliminate being in a situation where you can't control yourself because of the sexual activity. Yeah, you could be all hot and kissing and doing all the romantic stuff, and then, woo, that feeling can come inside of you, and you feel like, you're panties are getting a little moist and you feel like you might want to go a little further. So if you're wanting to abstain, you got to keep yourself away from situations like that, because it's not fair to the other person if they're not abstaining. And sometimes we engage ourselves in extracurricular things like a little drink every now and then, maybe a little smoke every now and then, maybe something that takes you away from the norm and puts you in a euphoric state where you think you may want to have sex with someone. So sometimes you want to reconsider putting yourself in the midst of a situation that could turn out to sexual conversation and then a sexual conflict, because you're choosing to abstain. So let me see if there are any questions out there. I know I've been talking for about 15 minutes, and I usually see if you guys have any questions before I go any further. Hello, how are you tonight? Glad to see you guys inside the bedroom closet. You saw me in Houston, Texas at Phil and Derek's. Oh, wow. How awesome is that? Yep. And the food was good. I had those fried green tomatoes at Phil and Derek's, and they make them with those onion rings on top and then this wonderful remoulade. So, Phil and Derek's was a great place to visit. I was there with a good girlfriend, so we did have some good food, and I was there celebrating Juneteenth. So, yeah, that was fun. And I will go back because the food was very good. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here inside the bedroom closet tonight. I was married for 10 years and going through a divorce. I have been abstaining for almost 2 years, and that happens when you're going through a divorce. It's not something that you want to think about doing. Sometimes you think about it because you were sexually unsatisfied, maybe in your marriage. But it's not as easy to jump into bed with someone else because you were sexually unsatisfied. So when you choose to abstain, you're getting your life principles back in order based on what it is that you feel like you want to share with someone else. And after being married for 10 years, you guys are common with one another, where it's easy for you to walk around naturally, whether you're naked, half naked, or wanting to be naked, and there's no ooh and ah and all that, because you're common with one another. So you want to be able to be common with someone else again, but you want to choose the right partner. So I understand abstaining. And I've known people who have abstained for quite a few years, over 10 years. And those are basically the people that I know that's following their moral and religious principles, because they were divorced and they have not found yet someone that they wanted to remarry. But definitely understand that. So thank you so much for sharing, because I'm sure there's others out there like that as well. That's what happened to me. I lost my husband. Yep. Sometimes you lose a loved one, and it's not hard. It's not hard to mourn the loss of a loved one and not want to move on with someone else. That's one of the harder situations because of bereavement and the thoughts and the memories and the things that you guys have shared. And it's different from divorce, because you could see your divorced partner over time, whether you jump into them, bump into them, or you guys got to pick up the kids and you got to meet them. But when you lost a loved one, there's no way of even healing the fact that you may want to hear their voice again, or you may want to feel their touch again, or you may want to smell their smell again, and that's totally gone. So that's something that's a loss that's hard. That's very, very, very hard. So I understand. I'm having pelvic floor therapy tomorrow morning. Good for you. Very good for you. I know pelvic floor therapy definitely helps, because it is a little painful to have sex with your pelvic floor being in pain that way. And because it's dropped, you got to do some exercises, maybe some floor exercises, or if they put you on a table where you have to do some lifting to help strengthen the pelvic floor again. So I'm glad that you're having therapy to look into that. And I'm glad that you know that that was something that was troubling you and you wanted to look into it so that you can feel better about yourself. So is it normal to lose your libido in your 20s after experiencing SA. It's very normal to lose your libido at a early age, even if you're going through any type of problems with your menstrual cycle, or if you're going through any type of fibroids or something like that that you have that causes a loss of libido. It also can cause vaginal dryness, you know. So when you lose your libido, even in your 20s, it's something that you can look into as far as therapy. You may want to speak to your physician in reference to that, but you want to look at your diet too, and you want to think about doing something to help increase that, because in your 20s it's very young to lose the libido. And I need to probably ask you more questions about your partners or activity or your lifestyle, because at 20 that's a little bit young. But with the SA, I definitely understand that. Yep. All right, so let's see. You had fibroids. Yep, fibroids can be that can cause you a lot of pain. Sometimes you don't know that they're there. A lot of women have a swelling in their stomach and they think they just got a swelling or a fat belly. But sometimes those fibroids can grow rather big, and you want to get that looked into where you can be healed from that. But tonight we were talking about sexual abstinence inside the bedroom closet for those who are coming in a little bit late. And we mentioned that some people monitor their moral and religious principles, and they abstain for that reason. We talked about those that are waiting until they're ready based on the partner that they want in their life, where they feel comfortable and there's a common ground between the two of you, where you can share your thoughts and wants and needs in reference to your sexual desires, which is sometimes harder for some than it is for others. We're talking about those who are getting over a breakup, a divorce, as mentioned, or those who may have suffered a loss because of bereavement. Those are definitely reasons why people choose to abstain, and some for years, and some until they feel that they're ready to get back out there into the dating scene. Because you know, when you meet someone, sometimes it is just for a companion, but most times it's for some type of sexual gratification, whether it's the kissing, the rubbing, the hugging, the touching, or the intercourse itself. So those who choose to abstain try to stay away from situations like that. But as I mentioned, if you're dating and you want to come clean, may not be something that you mention on the first date, but you want to talk and hear where that person's mind and heart is in a couple conversations, and then you want to be honest, because they could be abstaining as well, and that could be someone that you wouldn't mind dating because they don't want to get themselves into a sexual situation, and you don't want to get yourself into a sexual situation. So definitely be honest and communicate with whoever you're seeing that you are deciding to be abstinent. Now, having fun without the sexual involvement, sometimes people choose to do that. They just want to date and have fun and travel and get out there and go to clubs and just have a good time, but they don't want to end the night with any one particular person because they don't want it to go any further. Some people choose to pursue life goals, and that's whether there's academics, sports, any type of extracurricular activity where they're not looking to get into a sexual relationship. And then, too, I didn't mention those persons who may have had some type of sexual trauma. And sexual trauma could be a variety of things that could have gone on in your past, where you some people choose to be a little bit more promiscuous based on some traumas, and some people choose to abstain based on trauma. So you could have had a sexual trauma in your life that keeps you from wanting to move forward, because you don't want to share that sexual trauma with someone, but they don't know how to address the fact that you have one either. So that could be one of the reasons. I don't know why I've got this in my throat. But I tell you, the time change is real. When I woke up this morning, it was 6. I thought it was 4, and it was just crazy. So I wanted to jump inside the bedroom closet around my normal time, which is about 8 o'clock, 8:30-ish, because when I was in Seattle, I was on at 6:30. 10 o'clock at night. I just couldn't get it right. So thank you guys for coming inside the bedroom closet. Obtained, abstain, not really sure. Looking to see if you guys have any other questions for me. Because like I said, I want to keep my commitment to you and come inside the bedroom closet on a Monday night where we talk about sex, on a Wednesday night where we talk about love, and then on Fridays we talk about relationships. So I wanted to come to you for just a little while to give you guys a little talk in the closet in reference to abstaining. If you're one that you're looking to abstain and you want to make sure that the next person that you share your body with is a person that will love and trust you and protect your heart and your feelings, that doesn't always happen because sometimes we give it too freely and too easily and too early. So you want to have that conversation because communication is where it starts when you first start dating. You say the communication was so good, we talked all night long. But did you talk about things that are important to a foundation for a relationship? And setting sexual preferences in order is definitely something that you got to talk about. That's not something that you get, no matter how much you like them, they could just be so great. And then it cannot be great sexually for you. And you've chose not to abstain and give in, but not communicate what it is that you want. So if you're abstaining, definitely think about what it is that you want in a partner before you choose to give it up, right? So let's see. Hello. Welcome, guys, inside the bedroom closet. I'm glad you guys are inside the closet tonight. Just had a little topic for you based on a conversation that I had with someone. I do respect anyone that's choosing to abstain. As I mentioned on shows prior, monogamous relationships are relationships where they're married people, and they are not abstaining in a marriage. They're just having a sexless relationship or sexless marriage. But when you are a single person, you can choose to or not to give up your body. You do have the right to say no. No is always a word that's universal. Everybody knows what no means. But if you put yourself in a situation where you have to say no, you want to make sure, you want to make sure that you've had the conversation with someone and you're not putting yourself in the midst of sexual situations where you have to get out of them. And you have time to think about or think ahead about some of the things that you want for yourself. And in order to do so, you have to stop and evaluate what it is that you want and not think about the pressure that may be put on you by others. So that's definitely something that you want to think about. Been there, done that. The sexiest, that sexless marriage. Yeah, and it happens. We talked about sexless marriages maybe 2 Mondays ago, and I'll try to find my clips. When I was in Seattle, for some reason, the Wi-Fi was really bad, and I couldn't save some of the lives that I did. But we did do a show on a sexless marriage and a sexless relationship, and that's never good. That's never something that you want to even get into unless it's an illness. Yep. So if it's an illness and that person cannot help it, and that's not something that they have any control over, then yeah, I can understand that. But if it's just a sexless relationship and there's reasonings behind it other than physical illness, then that's something that you would need to definitely think about, because abstaining within a marriage is definitely not good. So thank you for sharing that. Let's see if anyone else have any questions. You guys are coming inside the closet. Thank you so much for doing so. I'll be back live again on Wednesday. Just waiting for a few minutes to see if you have any questions before I let you go. I do have some writing to get to tonight, and I've got to catch up on some sleep from a different time zone and do a few things for some studies. But I, as always, want to make sure that I am committed and dedicated to doing what I say I'm going to do on TikTok, and that's educate my audience about topics relative to sex, love, and relationships. If you go to my website, you'll see that there's other topics that I do address. If you'd like to book some time with me, you can definitely do so. Go to InsideMyBedroomCloset.com, and there I am. And you can definitely see when you go into the website, I'm reading poetry. So I'm redoing the poetry book and getting all that together. And I am working on some other manuscripts. Kind of hard, but I found time to get inside the bedroom closet for you guys. But just waiting for another couple minutes. If you guys want to tell me where you're from, I'll let you know if I've been in your city eating some of your great food, like I've been to Houston, Texas, and Phil and Derek, as the person mentioned earlier, and that was some great food. When I was in Seattle, went to Portland, went to Canada for the day, went to a lot of places and ate some food. Didn't always have my phone handy, but I went to this one place and they make this African puff pastry type of thing. I'm going to post it, but it's like it's a dough and it's like panko bread seeds. So it's like breadcrumbs, I'm sorry. So, it's a little crunchy, but on the inside is this wonderful meat that they put in there, whether it's salmon or jerk or shredded beef or turkey or, whatever, but it's super good, really, really good. And so I had that, and I had chili from Ivar's. They have, not chili, clam chowder. I'm sorry, because I just had some. They have some of the best clam chowder. Let's see, what are you saying there in New Jersey? Hey, in New Jersey. Been to New Jersey, ate some really good food. I'm trying to think of the place in New Jersey where I went. It was right near that university. I always forget the name of it, where they do the rugby and all that, because I had a friend that had to speak there. Can't remember, but you guys got some funky U-turns in New Jersey. I do remember that. So, Albuquerque, New Mexico. I want to go to New Mexico. I've been in New York quite a few times, been to the Bahamas quite a few times, Dallas, Texas, and Houston. Dallas, I've been to Dallas, Fort Worth, and that's where I had to train employees for AT&T when I worked for AT&T. So they're in Dallas, Fort Worth, and they were in San Antonio, Texas. I had to go to 2 different offices. So, Brooklyn, New York. Went to different areas of New York when I was in New York. They have some great food. I didn't know that the hot dog vendors, it was based on the best relish. Well, you guys say you got great pizza in New York. I live near Chicago, so I can't give you that title just yet. They had some killer pizza in Chicago. Kind of good in New York. They got some other good food, so I won't discount that. They've got some fabulous restaurants in New York, of course. Some of the greatest chefs are in New York. Love great food, but tried the pizza. It was okay. It was okay. Conway, South Carolina. Haven't been to Conway, South Carolina, but I've been to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I can't think of... No, that was Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. So, I've been to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Been there. Best pizza. Love pizza. Greetings from Chicago. I love Chicago. I'm going over to Chicago on Thursday, actually, to eat. And I don't know where the place is because my marketing director is taking me, but they've got these jumbo, huge crab cakes, and I can't wait. So I'm going over to Chicago for that. I wanted to get some stuffed chicken from Ruth Chris. They said that Ruth Chris moved from downtown, so I got to check that out. Love eating at the RL downtown. That's one of my favorite places to eat in Chicago as well. The RL is good. And great food, great food. I worked downtown for such a long time in Chicago. I've probably raped most of the restaurants down there just because I worked in the midst of them. And The great food was wonderful. Las Vegas, I was just in Las Vegas. I stay at the Wyndham Resorts right there. It's right off of the Strip, but they're the condos there. I don't stay on the Strip, so yeah, got a friend that's got a timeshare there, so I usually stay at the Wyndham Resorts. So yeah, go to Vegas on a regular basis. How do I keep the weight off? Well, I do watch what I eat, and I do have a regular diet of drinking a lot of water. I drink a lot of water, whether it's sparkling water, regular water, lemon water. I drink water all day. I stay away from white substances, white sugar. I use brown sugar. Don't do a lot of white pasta if I eat pasta, and that's if it's usually wheat pasta. So I stay away from white bread. I eat wheat bread, no sugar. Very, 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 very rare do I eat sugar. The only sugar I usually have is in natural fruit. And I didn't buy any natural fruit today when I went to the grocery store because I just got back in town. I bought a cucumber instead of fruit. And what I usually do is I cut up the cucumber and I use a very light Italian dressing and I'll put it in a bowl and I usually just snack on that throughout the day because it's tasty and the cucumber is great for you. So I usually snack on that. Like I love those little cherry tomatoes. I like to throw those back, so I eat a lot of vegetables. But yeah, stay away from sugars and anything that's white. I know I love my French fries and my baked potatoes, so I try to do that maybe once a month, not that often. So yeah, I'm almost 60, and I felt like I didn't, but I've always been a small frame person. But in order to keep the weight off, I know what it is that I have to do. And I don't mind. And I snack. Don't get me wrong. I got some chips and dip waiting for me. But I do things in moderation. And so, yeah. And you have to make sure that, and I'm just saying, what goes in must come out. Make sure your system is healthy enough, your excretory system, where you don't have to take supplements to make sure that you go. Because you need to go on a regular basis. And when you drink a lot of water, that just kind of helps everything along. So that's how I keep the weight off. But thank you for asking. Okay. Let's see if there are any other questions. I do drink a little wine. Now, I like a white wine. I'm usually drinking a Riesling, or I'll drink, Riesling is a very, very, very light wine. Sometimes you can get, I don't like the skinny girl stuff, not so much. But I do like a light wine. I love champagne because I like mimosas, whether it's with grapefruit juice, orange juice, papaya juice. I just like mimosas, so I like champagne. Red wine, is helpful for your blood flow. I drink a little red wine, but a little red wine gets me there a little too quick, so I try to stay away from a little red wine. And but I do keep a little on hand in case. But yeah, so I do drink a little wine every now and then. The beer and some of those sparkling, what do you call those drinks that people with the seltzer drinks and things like that kind of bloats you a little bit. So you may want to stay away. And that's another reason why I don't drink as much champagne, because it bloats me a little bit. But I do love champagne. So yeah, I do drink wine. I like wine. Like a margarita too. That's one of my favorite things. Love, love, love a margarita. Let's see if there's any other questions. Don't see any other questions, but thank you guys for the questions that you've had tonight. So you got to make sure that if you are in a frame of mind where you want to abstain, that it's something that you've thought about and it's something that you try to focus and keep your mind in a situation where you stay away from situations where they may get a little aroused too soon. And that'll help you. But you want to communicate what's happening with your partner so that you guys can be on the same page. Because as I mentioned, they could abstain with you or they can be abstaining as well. So don't wait till the last minute to share that news with someone. And I'll try to put some clips up for tomorrow because I won't be live, but I may jump inside the bedroom closet and say a little something. But I will try to also get some clips from the live, and I've got a lot of video footage from my trip, and it's some stuff that I need to put up. But I want to always thank you guys for joining me inside the closet. I try not to keep you too long. Yep, is it okay to ask you your age? I am 59. Yep, I'll be 60 in January. So, yeah, that's how old I am. I've got 2 girls in their 30s, and I've got 4 wonderful grandchildren now. So, yep, I'll be 60 in January. So, looking forward to the big 60. And you're as young. Thank you guys for the roses. I appreciate that. I definitely do. God bless you as well. So all the wonderful compliments and accolades that I get inside the closet, that's part of the motivation why I do come inside the closet. I will want to eventually want to do this on a long-term basis and come to you guys more often. Thank you so much for all the gifts and roses. I appreciate it. Whenever you guys take your time to come out and listen to me. Don't want to keep you too long because I know there's other things that's on the ticker that you may want to look at, laugh at, or something like that. But I like to give a little sex education, answer your questions. Please ask me questions, please. I don't have a problem with you asking. If I don't have an answer, I'll get you the answer. But I've been doing this since about 2008. So I've been talking sex for a very long time. As I mentioned, and you may not have been on the air when I mentioned, I had a radio show for at least 5 of those years since 2008, and it was syndicated. So I had people listening from everywhere, and I got questions all the time. And most of the people did want to tell me where they're from because it was a syndicated show. So that's why I like to know where you guys are from. It could be a place that I've been or a place that I want to go. So, yeah, I appreciate that. Let's see if there's any other questions before I let you go. Before I let go. Yeah. And thank you so much that you love my voice. I appreciate that. I got that a lot on the radio, and actually from my radio days, when I did do poetry, I actually would put it on a CD to music. So that's one of the other things that I'm working on now is trying to get some music together for some of the poems that I've written. And I'm trying to finish up some of the newer poems that I'm writing. So I've got a lot of things that I'm juggling right about now. I've got a niece that I raised after my mom passed, and she's going back to college. So getting things straightened with her, and coming off a vacation, getting ready to go again, hopefully in another couple of weeks. But as always, I have to come inside the bedroom closet from wherever I am because I have people that are following me. So if you have any friends, make sure you like, share, and follow the information for inside my bedroom closet. And I'm going to let you guys go for the night, but thank you so much. But I'll be here again on Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central Time. Join me right here inside the bedroom closet. Don't forget to follow me so you'll get the notification when I'm on the air. So next time, I'll see you inside the bedroom closet. Have a good night.